guys, Movies and Fries. Today we have, I am Count Nacula, and we have Jesk, excuse me.
Jeff is fine. I'm the only Jeff here, but hello.
Yeah. And Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
And this run, or this recommendation, was recommended by Jeff. It is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Take it away, Jeff.
Oh man, I'd love to. This movie's so good, dude. I'm just gonna do nothing but gush about it for like the next 20 minutes. So Roger Rabbit has been a favorite since I was like a child. Like I've always loved this movie, and it's like I've probably revisited this movie more times than any other movie that I've seen, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of movies that I kind of keep in the cycle. But it's just, every time I watch it, I find something new to appreciate it. There's just so much love and care and attention in this movie that it just permeates every scene. Like it feels like a project of love, you know? The big thing that really blew me away on this watch was how well this movie does setup and payoff. There's so many great payoffs to small things in this movie that are easy to overlook at first. I love the payoff with like the love letter and let's see, what were some other standouts to me? Hold on, I just had a complete brain fart. The Judge Doom payoff and that reveal I thought was really great. I love the Benny payoff when he says, if you ever need a ride, stick out your thumb, and then Eddie goes to point in that direction. Like just little things like that just really, really show that they were paying attention and gave a shit about setting things up. And it just, I don't know. It's impervious to me, but I think that's probably just because I love the movie so much. I just can't really find many, if anything, that I don't like about it. I think the acting's incredible. I think the work that went into making this movie is absolutely insane. There's been so many movies that have attempted to do what this movie does, and none of them have even come close. You know what I mean? Not Cool World, not Space Jam, not any of that shit. Like none of them can even scratch the surface of what this movie is, and that's all because they put that work in. Like the animatronic, dude, they built an entire animatronic for Baby Huey? Is that his name? No, yeah. Herman, Baby Herman. For his cigar, you know what I mean? Just to like make that look real.
Yeah,
I remember watching a featurette, and they were talking about how they did a lot of goofy things with the atmosphere, so it gave Roger things to play around with. So that's why he's such a klutz, is because they're constantly like knocking shit around and moving things. That way he can interact with the atmosphere around him.
Yeah.
And I think that really pays off. No movie has made me believe that cartoons and humans are in the same screen the way that this movie makes me feel that way. Like I watched Space Jam and like the perspective's a little off and the work isn't put in. What's that term? Bumping the lamp.
Right, putting in the extra work. Yeah. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, this movie's just, I don't know. It's just insane. I love everything about it. I really do. I really like the mystery at the center of it. It feels very Chinatown in its own way.
Nice,
especially having seen Chinatown now, but there's a lot of parallels between the two. Something about old school noirs and it having to do with public works in some way. It's always some public works shit. What is it, like the water company in Chinatown?
Yeah.
And in this one, it's all about the red car and freeways.
Yeah.
Judge Doom is a fantastic villain, as are the Weasels. I like the Weasels a lot. Once again, another great payoff. Yeah. Just repeatedly throughout the movie, you're going to laugh yourselves to death. You're going to laugh yourselves to death. And then they do laugh themselves to death.
I love the way Needle Nose just misplaces words, mispronounces words.
Yes.
Should I depose of him now, boss?
What is it? Repose? Yeah. Repose of him. Yeah, I don't know. The Weasel. Dude, here's the thing, is there's a lot of like unsettling things in this movie. Like those weasels with like human guns are super unsettling to me. Yeah. There's like, obviously the dip is like to this day makes my toe curls a little bit watching that fucking shoe get dipped.
Yeah.
Really intense to watch. Also, for some reason on this watch through, when you watch that Roger cartoon in the beginning, where he's like watching after the baby or whatever, and he gets electrocuted and his head starts smacking into the wall. I don't know why, but that felt really uncomfortable to me. But I think that opening bit with the cartoon is a great setup for Roger in the industry, and also leads into, in my opinion, one of the best character introductions I've seen of Eddie Valiant, because you learn so much about that man in the first 5 seconds you see him on screen. Like, he's just like, tunes, and then takes a drink of booze. It's like, okay, we know who Eddie Valiant is. That's like his whole character right there. And yeah, dude, Bob Hoskins like really brought it home with this.
Dude, his quote unquote clueless smile is wonderful. That's like the biggest ray of sunshine in this fucking movie, is just seeing like him smile when he's hiding Roger in the fucking sink. Like, oh,
he feels like a human. You know what I mean? Like, I noticed on this watch through that, like, you can even see in the beginning, like when he's like full Eddie Valiant, that like he still is like a decent person. You know what I mean? It's like little things like him helping the kid on the back of the train car. You know what I mean? Or like him being nice to Betty, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you could see that he's kind of sweet and still kind of a decent guy, and is just really struggling with his brother's death and shit. I also didn't put it together until this watch through. I've watched this movie a million times. I had to put it together that it was Teddy and Eddie Valiant.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't like realize that it's Eddie and Teddy. There was this one scene that really stood out to me on this watch, where Eddie's back in his office and he's like drinking, and it like pans away from him and then over his brother's desk. And we get like a bunch of visual exposition about like him and his brother's like relationship, and like how they were cops and worked in Toontown or whatever. And then it pans back to Eddie Valiant and he's like passed out drunk, and it's daytime. I really liked that scene in that edit a lot. That really stuck out to me.
It adds, it really colors in like his past and everything.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not heavy either. It doesn't feel heavy anyways. I think this movie trusts the people who watch it, which is surprising for the type of movie this is. Usually a movie like this, like if you look at that new, like the new Chippendale, or like Space Jam, or even Cool World, like there's a lot of like pushing that shit onto you and like being too blatant with it. And this movie really trusts us to be able to like pick up on the little things. You know what I mean? Like pick up on the will. You could figure out the will way early in the movie, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you could definitely figure out. They drop some hints that Doctor Doom, or Judge Doom, sorry, that Judge Doom is actually a tune. Like one of the shoes is trying to get up his pant leg or something. When all the shoes sneak out of the box.
Yeah, or like when the dip gets spilled in the bar, he backs away from it faster than everybody else.
Yeah, that's another big clue. And all the eyeballs were spilled. He's covering his eye.
Yep. He
never blinks.
I did not notice that, but I also noticed that they play with his glasses a lot, which I really like. There's a lot of scenes where like there's a shine over his glasses, so it looks like they're lit up. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's really intimidating.
Yeah, he is though. Doom is a super intimidating villain in this movie. Like he really, really is though.
He's a good villain, but I feel like he's kind of out of place for me in this movie. Because in film noirs, the villain's usually just like a regular gangster.
Yeah.
He seems more like a mad scientist. I mean, I hate to nitpick this movie because it's so perfect otherwise. One thing I learned recently is that Tim Curry was up for the role of this.
I think Lloyd nailed it, though. I can't imagine anybody else but Lloyd in that role.
I don't know, man. I feel like Tim Curry in this role, come on.
He would have been great for sure.
Yeah.
Comparable, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot. There's so many little things in this movie I really like. There was one thing in particular I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
We can move on to one of you guys. I'll bring it up later if I remember. Knack, what do you got?
Right.
Well, I dig how it kind of I feel like it maybe throws viewers off when the movie opens up with this cartoon short, just looking like a genuine, Warner Brothers cartoon, just starting it off, and until they actually reveal it's a filming set. I thought that was clever as hell.
Yeah,
I really like that. I tried to pick up any little things I could in this watch. I've just the around one of the earlier scenes where outside of all the studios, you see the saxophone player playing a saxophone rendition of the Sorcerer's Apprentice music, so the brooms can continue sweeping.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
I know.
Just the musical touch of that was awesome. Loved it.
That's cool. I saw the hippos from Fantasia really early in the movie.
Right.
There's
shortly after there was something that made me question, kind of just wonder more like how much the real people and tunes interact with each other in the physical world. Like you see that hippo sit on the bench, and then the human that was sitting on the bench next to her skyrockets into the fucking sky.
Yeah.
Like that's maybe that's just the first reveal to like see how interactable those two worlds really are.
Well, they have to interact with the world, otherwise the illusion's broken. And the animators understood that. Like, they understood the assignment in a way that I don't think anybody else has done. Because there's so many little ways that they interact that play really well because they put that work in for the animatronics or whatever else. Like Roger spitting the water out, you know what I mean? Just like little shit like that.
Yeah, I know. Jeff, I've just watched like all the behind the scenes clips on YouTube that I know you've already seen.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the animators who had the foresight. It was Robert Zemeckis. One of the interesting things that he said when making this movie is it's not making two movies. You would think it'd be making an animated movie and a real movie. He said you're making 3 movies with this. The third one is it's a special effects movie, in the sense that it's like he made an Invisible Man movie, because like in Invisible Man movies, every time he touches like something, there's an indentation. There's always footprints. Like there's so many little touches. Like you were talking about the animatronics with Baby Huey. There was a copycat arm, a robot arm that could move in 6 directions because Baby Huey is talking with his cigar. He gestures with his cigar. He even drops it on the ground. There's robot arms that are smashing plates when Roger Rabbit's smashing plates. The weasels holding the guns is a puppeteer with guns on strings, and there's people walking above the stage moving the guns like puppets. Like almost every part of the movie, when someone's interacting with something, they had to design some special device. And that's
that work.
Yeah, go ahead.
It pays off in such a beautiful way, though. Like, it feels like a cohesive world. You know what I mean? Like, if you compare this, one of the videos I watched, they were talking about a direct comparison between Cool World and how flat Cool World feels. It feels like they're drawn on the screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like they're drawn over it instead of drawn into it.
Drawn on a background, yeah. And the other big thing is that in this movie, for the first time, the camera is allowed to move. Normally, the camera has to stay in place, but in this one, the camera can move. And the animated, they actually have to animate the characters while the camera's moving. And that makes it feel like a real movie.
Yeah, it really, really does. There's this bit in the beginning. It always seemed crazy to me every time I watched it that like right behind the wall of the Acme factory was Toontown, because when it shows outside shots of the Acme factory, it's hard to see Toontown behind it, so you don't really know that it is.
Right.
But in the first scene of Eddie being there after they find Acme's body, Yosemite Sam comes over the wall and lands to show that like they're literally directly on the other side of the wall. Like I never.
Yeah, and he gave him his gun, I guess, right before he drives through the tunnel.
Yeah, those dum-dum bullets.
Yeah.
Dum-dums.
Did you guys pick up on any sexual tension between Bob Hoskins and Betty Boop? Was that just me?
No, I picked up on that. Absolutely.
It felt like they had a history.
The chemistry between characters in this movie, both actual like actors and the animated characters, I think hits on almost every front. I really liked Eddie and Dolores a lot. I also think that Jessica and Roger are such a cute pair. Every time I watch them, like they're fucking adorable. I can't with these two.
Funny guy and a tall girl.
What do you see in that guy? He makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Just...
I think
I quote this movie. Go ahead.
I think the secret to that was because they had Charles Fleischer was the guy who voiced Roger Rabbit. He was on set when they filmed it. Obviously, Bob Hoskins was acting with no one there because he was on set reading his lines, and so were some of the other cartoons. And
Bob Hoskins does such a good job interacting with everything, like truly.
If you guys didn't know, Charles Fleischer, he was dressed as Roger Rabbit when he was reading all his lines on set.
Yo, I need to see this.
And supposedly when he like ate at the cafeteria, like people would say, "Man, this movie looks like it's gonna suck." This guy in a rabbit costume. That's the movie.
Fucking riot.
Yeah. And that was his choice. He felt like he had to dress up as a rabbit. Robert Zemeckis didn't make him or anything.
No, hey, that's an actor just, steeping himself in the role. I
respect it. It's like Daniel Day-Lewis. He's a method actor.
Yeah.
There's definitely work put into it. It doesn't feel like anybody really phoned it in at all.
Oh no.
I caught a reference that I've never caught before. When he is to what's his name? Angelo. He's like, "Yeah, I got the rabbit right here. Well, say hello, Harvey." I never got that joke until this watch through because now I understand what Harvey the Rabbit is.
Oh, you've seen Harvey?
No, I just know about it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was clueless on that joke as well.
It's just a movie about a guy who sees an invisible rabbit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be pretty good. I haven't seen it.
It's a Jimmy Stewart movie. I've seen it, but I think it's kind of
flat.
Yeah, I mean, if it interests you, go out and see it. It's not the best rabbit movie I've seen. Have you guys ever seen Bob Hoskins in an interview? Do you know what he's
been a long time. I think I saw it once.
He's super British, isn't he?
Yeah, high-pitched British voice. You'd never guess it because in this movie he sounds like Danny DeVito.
He nails that accent in this movie.
Oh god, yeah.
Very Hook adjacent. Very Shmee adjacent.
Oh yeah, does he play that in Hook?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Shmee in Hook.
Okay.
Also great. Also a lot of sexual tension between him and Dustin Hoffman in that movie. They decided when they filmed it that they were going to play it like an old married couple, and that's why they work so well in that movie. But this is not about Hook, as much as I would like it to be. Yeah, Bob Hoskins absolutely killed it. Who was the voice of Jessica Rabbit? I forgot to look into that.
Kathleen Turner, and she was uncredited, and I could not find out why.
Really? She wasn't in the credits?
No, her singing. No, well, her singing
voice was something else.
Yeah,
it was Amy something. Yeah, Amy Irving.
I wonder if she didn't want to be known for this. I don't know.
It's strange because Kathleen Turner's voice is unmistakable. You ask me. Like, she has a signature voice.
Dude, I want to touch base on it because it feels like important that we do when talking about this movie and like its take on racism in the entertainment industry at the time that the movie takes place, and the way that is done through the cartoons, like the segregation of Toontown. What is it? The Ink and Paint Club? Is that the club that Valiant goes to? The fact that it's no toons are allowed to attend, but they all work there. Like little touches like that are easy to like not pick up on at first. You know what I mean? Like I didn't pick up on the fact that toons weren't allowed to go into the Ink and Paint Club the first couple times I watched it.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to expose children to this as a way of sort of an allegory of talking about segregation and racism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally appropriate because during the golden age era of movies, that's how it was.
Yeah, and there's like subtle like nods to like him talking about Dumbo working for peanuts.
For sure, and Roger Rabbit kind of begging for another take. He's being exploited in a way.
Very much manipulated for sure, like in a lot of ways.
And
I lost it. It's gone. Sorry, this is what happens when I call in from work. No, I also like that this is the only time that we ever see Mickey and Bugs on the same screen. It's kind of wild. Or maybe at the time, anyways. It might have been happening more recently, but seeing this many cartoons from like, go ahead.
Wikipedia says it's the only time.
Only time.
And they had to have equal screen time. So did Bugs or Daffy and what's his name? Daffy and
yeah,
Donald.
yeah. It is nice to see them together. It's weird because they kind of act antagonistic, but generally when you see them, like Bugs, especially in a cartoon, he is usually antagonized first. So to see him just be antagonistic, just to be antagonistic. Also, wild that cartoon laws apply to humans when they're in Toontown, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
It kind of removes a lot of the tension when you watch it, because like Eddie falling from the building or like Jessica pointing the gun at him, it's like, homie, he was just flat in an elevator. I think he'll be fine. I do like seeing Eddie use cartoon logic, especially like in the final fight of the movie, or like when he's in Toontown and that girl's running him down, and probably the most tasteless scene of the movie.
Yeah, that kind of represents his journey. And I don't want to nitpick again, but it's like he doesn't solve the mystery. Judge Doom finds him, drags him to the lair, and kind of tells him his plan, puts him on the torture device, and then leaves the room. Me, as a cynical adult watcher, I'm kind of disappointed by that. But then that scene where he dances and uses cartoon logic to save the day totally justifies it and redeems.
It's a great turnaround for him. It's like, is it Merry-Go-Round Broke Down? Is it the same track that Roger's singing to?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I was going to double check and completely spaced it. But no, he does figure out most of it, but a lot of it's kind of handed to him. I'll give you that.
He doesn't figure out that Doom was the cartoon, and the will just ends up in his pocket because Roger Rabbit. It happened when they got into the car. Roger Rabbit sneaks into the back. He finds the cab, and the will just falls out of Roger Rabbit's pocket, and he picks it up. It's a very subtle thing, but I don't know.
It's yeah, it's catchable. Like, it's very clean. Like, you see it happen. Like, Eddie looks at it too and like puts it in his pocket, but they don't call attention to it, which I like. Mm-hmm. Like, they just let it happen. Trust us to pick up on it. Any movie that trusts me as a moviegoer is A-okay in my book.
They really trust you to just believe that, there's a world where cartoons are real in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big leap of faith you have to take.
Yeah, here's a thing. So they like let that tank at the end of the movie just drive into Toontown full of dip. What happens if it like hits a bump, bro?
Yeah.
That's an entire city block gone. Like, what do they do? They just let it drive through? Do you think they just clear a path?
I have no idea.
I see what you're talking about with Judge Doom, though. Like, this man is out here like inventing dip. The idea of cartoon criminals is actually really scary. Like, seeing some of the things that the cartoons do, like, they look like time bombs. You know what I mean?
So what, was he just one bad egg? Everyone else is good? Like, what happens if there's another Judge Doom?
Yeah, and the other cartoons, like, didn't, like, it's the humans that are going to do something about the cartoons. Like, the other cartoons don't care. I guess I'm kind of digging into the logic of the movie a little hard, but
well, this world has a lot of progress to be made, I think. Yeah.
No, I do like the payoff that it's like, I don't know.
What payoff?
That Judge Doom is the cartoon that killed his brother.
Oh, I like that. It's just I rather would have had Eddie Valiant figure it out.
Yeah.
He's the detective. I mean.
He is kind of a fuck up though, but I guess that's the genre.
Well, he saves the day in his own way.
Yeah.
The sing and dance. The sing and dance that Eddie Valiant does to get to fucking kill the weasel's dead. Riotous.
Yeah, dude.
Riotous, dude.
There's bits. Go ahead.
Oh, and that is the perfect way for the movie, because that's his journey to overcome his despair about his brother and everything.
Yeah, and he's like using all those different like Acme tools, like that hammer that we see at the beginning of the movie because it's set up, or like the black hole that he uses to like break the magnet.
Yes.
There's bits in this movie that are genuinely funny to me to this day. That bit with the shave and a haircut, and it cuts to Roger losing his mind in the back of that speakeasy gets me every time I watch this movie.
Yeah.
Like every single time that man is losing his mind back there. Oh, I do like that nobody sells him out though. Like the first couple times I watched this, I'm like, those dudes are absolutely gonna sell him out. But like, I think it's cute that they don't, especially Angelo, because Angelo's shown to be a prick earlier in the movie.
I also have to credit the fucking music because
yes,
I like a lot of Alan Silvestri's music, but just the bending strings in just the way the string that string melody sounds when suspense is on the scene, it gets me every time.
Or the horns, those slow horns towards the beginning of the movie. That
yeah.
That noir shit. This movie's just, I don't know. I'm gonna probably watch this movie every year until the day I die. I just love this movie so much, dude. It's just good. It's just a solid movie, man. It's like funny. It's like got a good mystery at the center of it. I love the characters, I love the acting, I love the sets. It's just, and it holds up so well, dude. This movie was made in '88. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and seeing it, renting it and watching it, the animation still looks fucking flawless. The animation is spot on. It's I can't take my eyes away.
It looks so good, dude. It looks so good. Every last bit of it looks great. There's like a couple bits where it's like a little bit of a stretch, kind of like the weasel with the gun. It's like clearly on a wire, but like, I don't know, dude, just the way everything's put together. It's seamless. It feels like
there are, barely a couple parts where the live action production didn't blend well with the animation. Like when the bodyguard throws Eddie Valiant out of the
that's got to be a hard thing to do, though. I would imagine
such a slow action that it's just gives it away.
Yeah, I can't imagine him having to act into the idea of Bob Hoskins acting in this movie is so funny to me. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is because Bob Hoskins just seems like he would be a curmudgeon on set. I don't know Bob Hoskins at all, obviously, but just the idea of him just interacting with animatronics and doing as well as he does is just crazy to me. So good.
Well, he was mostly acting against nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even talk about like how he like misses that eye line before he goes into Maroon's place. They had to like stretch Roger to have him fit the screen.
Well, they just decided that he'd be standing on his tippy toes, leaning up.
Yep.
Yeah. And no one, I wouldn't have caught that. I mean,
yeah, I didn't even catch that at all until I like saw that was a thing. Until it was like mentioned in something that I watched.
Why couldn't he be, standing on his tippy toes and?
Holy God, I'm seeing the giant list of actors that were also considered for Eddie Valiant.
Oh, there's so
That's
many.
Insane.
Bill Murray,
Robin Williams, Jack Nicholson, Sylvester Stallone.
No way.
Yeah.
Hoskins,
Shawn.
Man.
Wallace Shawn.
Dude, Wallace Shawn? No
Charles
way.
Grodin. Charles Grodin. Holy God. All right.
Wallace Shawn. Got the Grand Nagus
the
in
Nagus,
here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Imagine that high shriek voice it has Eddie Valiant.
Yeah, this movie has like surprisingly low actual actor cast, it feels like. Because it like the only people that we see on screen we see Doom, Dolores, Valiant, and not many others.
No, but
like,
we got some good voice talent. Mel Blanc, the original Betty Boop from 1930.
Yeah.
Mae Questel.
She still sounds the same too. Like she sounds great as Betty Boop.
She still got it, even though she got left behind in the black and white era.
Yeah, the executives really reeled in the talent for this movie. Just hard to ignore.
What's ambitious? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they put the work in. They weren't phoning it in. I wish I would have watched Cool World recently so I could make some side-by-side comparisons. I really like Bakshi a lot, but
I didn't watch it either. I don't know if Will did. He said he wanted to, but I feel like it's okay.
It's not good.
Cool.
I haven't seen it in a few years, but I remember when I watched it, I was like, this movie's bad. And like I said, I like Bakshi, but it's bad, dude.
Yeah.
Everything about it it's like you can tell it was phoned in comparison. You know what I mean? Everything, like the perspective's all off and the interactions are off and it's just not good. But I think it's a good comparison for what putting that work in does to a movie. Like really putting that work in. Well, yeah. Do you guys have other things to add? Joe, do you want to add anything? We kind of steamrolled you a little bit.
No, I got out pretty much everything I wanted to hit on. I do have a few nitpicky things that I've mentioned a couple times, but watching all the behind the scenes, the making of shorts that are on YouTube of this, honestly, I'm just gonna say it elevates my interpretation of the movie.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. It feels like a labor of love. Like it feels like a movie made by people who really wanted to make this movie. It's just a bunch of animators really wanting to flex. Like I said, bumping the lamp. You know what I mean? Like putting in that extra work just to put in that extra work to make it good and make it believable.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it's just going to stand up for years to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I want to point out that the animators didn't do anything involved with bumping the lamp because they outsourced the lighting to ILM, George Lucas's company, Industrial Light and Magic. All of the animated parts had shadows applied to it. And I know you've seen that video where the lamp is moving and they're trying to figure out, how to get out of the handcuffs. It's just crazy to watch that and to consider that someone applied shadow to Roger Rabbit when the lamp is spinning around in a circle and he's, the light's hitting him. It's
like translucent. Like the inside of his ear is like translucent.
And they even did that, yeah.
Yeah. Only when
Insane
it was funny.
attention to detail.
It's the definition of that, yeah.
God. Dude, Roger is intoxicatingly funny in this movie to me. I'm a grown-ass man, and I still crack up at Roger Rabbit in this movie. He had to take these big pills, drink lots of water. It's so dumb, dude. I love it so much. Oh, my God. Also, can we talk about the fact that cartoons have sex by playing patty cake? Fucking the guy played Acme, patty cake. It's like, oh my fucking God, dude. Oh.
I don't know if they have. I think they just did that because because it's a PG movie. I don't think. Yeah, because it's a human and a cartoon. I feel like if they have sex, they do it the regular way. But that's just me. That's what I want to believe.
I don't know. I've always interpreted that the implication was that's how they did business.
No, I think they're
playing Roger's reaction.
No, I think he's just jealous because he has the mind of a baby and he likes to play patty cake, and he's jealous because he's sort of like a childlike character. I don't know. That's just my interpretation.
I don't know. I think the pairing between Roger and Valiant is played so well, and there's like a lot of weird parallels. Like there's this Roger's like looking at a picture of him and Jessica on the beach, and then we also get that scene where Valiant's looking at the pictures that he developed of like him and Dolores on the beach with his brother.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that.
I just think there's so many movies that have done the whole like curmudgeon gets with somebody who's like has a lighter personality, and then the curmudgeon kind of turns around and learns to like appreciate life or whatever. But in a lot of ways it feels hammy, and in this one it really feels earned. Like you get genuine compassion from Roger towards Valiant, like when Valiant's telling him about his brother and shit. And I think that's just a really important and touching scene to see between the two of them.
Absolutely. It's one of the best curmudgeon meets a carefree individual stories.
Yeah, it really is. It's such a slow build, you know what I mean? Like you don't have like big moments where it's like Eddie is well kind of at the end, you know what I mean? But even then it doesn't feel like it's played too strongly. Like you just see him slowly turning throughout the movie and like giving more of a shit. Like even even when Roger shows up in his apartment, he still hides him. You know what I mean? Like Eddie at no point, especially if you pay attention, feels like a genuinely terrible person. Like he just feels like a good guy who had terrible shit happen to him instead of just being a prick.
Yeah, and he doesn't exactly hold it against all tunes. Like he is a little bit weary of tunes, but you know, you can tell that he doesn't hate tunes or blame them too much.
Mm. No, I think that's definitely important in this movie because it makes his change more believable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like it's starting from a root somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're ready for ratings. Are we ready for ratings?
Yes.
And Ortman put his notes in.
Well, yeah, our buddy Will says this is the best movie ever made, and he gives it an 11 out of 10.
Because it is. I'm definitely going to give this a solid 10. I could maybe like between a 9 and a 10. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's perfect to me, so I'm going to give it a 10. I just love this movie too much, and it's just not. I feel like I have to really dig to find things to not like about it. Definitely a 10 for me.
I'd also give it a 10. I think it's perfect.
Nice.
How about you, Nick? Really struggling with your rating over there.
Only if you just trying to even consider any kind of a deduction, but it's 9.5. It's 9.5 only deducted for the very rare and occasional slow interaction, like the throw-out scene with the bodyguard. Just
a little bit of immersion breaking.
Yeah, just a little bit of a break there. But other than that, I really can't say anything bad about this movie. I'm so glad I caught it after so long.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing that we didn't touch on that I wanted to touch on was the perfect pacing of this movie. Sorry, I know we're like doing this after ratings and shit, but I just wanted to make sure that I touched on it. I really like the pacing in this movie a lot. Like we get like build, and then we get like some nice slow moments to get some character interaction. That's build, big payoff.
Yeah, it doesn't really, it doesn't drag anywhere at any point, and it's always giving you important information. It's great. Yeah.
There's really no lull anywhere.
I don't think this movie could have been slow anywhere. I feel like if I was concerned about anything in this movie, it'd be that it didn't slow down enough. Like if I thought that this movie could mess up somewhere, it would be that it would just be a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like it would just keep going and going and going and not slow enough to like give us real interactions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the fact that go ahead.
I wouldn't mind the director's extended cut. I heard there's originally Judge Doom was going to reveal that he shot Bambi at one point.
Wild.
Yeah.
I really want to read the book that it's based off of, like really bad.
You should, yeah.
I'm super interested in it. Like, what do they talk? Like, they talk with physical speech bubbles and shit in the book.
Oh, really?
Like, the book really goes hard into the lore, I guess, like the world building.
Yeah.
Really interesting, especially seeing as how like the movie turned out not a whole lot like it.
Definitely.
Which makes me super curious to see what the source material was. Knack, what do you got for rack for us?
Well, I had a tough time deciding between two different movies, both very recent, one from 2021, one from 2022. And I ended up asking my buddy Chance at work about which one I should deliver just by giving him a quick kind of vague synopsis of each one. But I landed on, let me get something real quick here.
Nicholas Sparks is The Notebook. Let's go.
My recommendation is 2021's Titana from Julia Ducournau.
Oh yeah.
It is currently watchable on Hulu.
That's that movie about the woman who likes to fuck cars or something.
Okay.
It's like buckle up for how fucking French this movie is. I swear to God, buckle the fuck up. Holy God, I've seen some French movies, but this one is right up there.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Yeah. I will get on setting up a scheduling poll and
awesome. I got one more thing about Roger. Did you guys catch what the bus says, the original bus at the beginning when he hops on the back? No? Sunset Boulevard.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I did not catch that at all.
Yeah,
I did catch Eddie bumming smokes off a 10-year-old though.
Yeah. Thanks for the cigarettes.
What a skis ball, dude.